Welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we examine the systems shaping our world, one book at a time.
You know, for the longest time in human history, our ancestors looked just like us, but something was missing. There wasn't that spark. And then, bam, around 50,000 years ago, something incredible happened. Suddenly you see this explosion of art, of really sophisticated tools, and complex societies just popping up.
So, what was it? What was the trigger that ignited this cognitive revolution? It's often called the Great Leap Forward. And figuring out what caused it, that's one of the biggest and most profound mysteries we've ever faced.
Well, the radical idea we're digging into today suggests the answer wasn't a new tool or some social trick. Nope, it was a faculty you are literally using right this second. A biological system so fundamental to who we are that we almost completely miss what it's really for. And that faculty is language. Okay, so to really get this, we have to pretty much throw out our common sense idea of what language is actually for. So the common view, right, the one we all grow up with, is that language is for talking to each other. It's for communication. But the scientific view we're exploring today, it flips that completely on its head. It says language is, first and foremost, an internal system for thinking. Communication? That's just a bonus feature, and honestly, a kind of clumsy one at that.
Now, to be really precise here, we're not talking about English or Japanese or Swahili. We're talking about something linguists call I language. The I is for internal and individual. The best way to think about it is like a universal operating system for thought that comes pre-installed in every human brain. It's a piece of our biology that generates structured ideas.
So, if I language is our brain's operating system, what's the core code? How does it actually give us this almost infinite power of thought? Well, it all comes down to a single, and honestly shockingly simple operation called merge.
Here's how simple this is. Let's say you have two separate concepts floating around in your mind, like read and books. At first, they're just two distinct mental things.
The operation of merge just takes those two objects and snaps them together into a new single package. So you go from just having read and books to having the structured thought read books. And what's really crucial here is that the original pieces, read and books, they aren't changed. Merge just uses them to build something new and more complex.
And here is where the magic happens. This simple little operation can be used again and again and again. You can merge a new concept with the set you just made, and another one with that new set, and on, forever. This is what lets us build an infinite number of complex thoughts from just a few basic parts. This little process, that is the engine of all human creativity.
This whole perspective, which really forces us to see the most human part of ourselves in a brand new light, comes from the legendary linguist Noam Chomsky. It's all laid out with amazing clarity in the book The Science of Language, which is a series of interviews with James McGilvray.
Okay, so if language is really an internal thought engine powered by this one simple trick, merge, what does that actually mean? Well, the implications they're massive. First off, it means language isn't something we learn, not in the way we learn to ride a bike. It's an innate, biological faculty. A child doesn't really get taught language. It just grows inside them, kind of like an arm or your visual system does. It just needs a little bit of data from the outside world to get started. And this just hammers home that core idea. I mean, think about it. The vast majority of your language use is completely internal. It's that voice in your head, that silent monologue that's running 24/7 as you think and plan and just make sense of the world. Actually speaking those thoughts out loud, that's just a tiny fraction of what this powerful system is doing.
And what's really fascinating is that this system seems to be a perfect solution. But perfect for what? Definitely not for communication. We all know how messy and ambiguous that can be. No, it's perfect for computation. Its design is just incredibly elegant and efficient, which suggests it evolved to be the best possible system for generating thought, completely separate from the pressures of having to talk to other people. So if you want the key metaphor to hold on to, here it is. Think of language as a beautifully simple and compact bit of code running quietly in the background of your mind. It takes your basic concepts as input, uses that one simple command, merge, and generates the infinitely complex stream of thoughts that makes up your entire inner world. So let's pull all this together. What does this really mean for how we see ourselves? This perspective completely changes the game on how we should think about language and really what it means to be human. It tells us that the incredible diversity of languages we see all over the world, that's just surface-level stuff. It's like different skins on the same software. Underneath it all, that fundamental engine, this elegant computational system,
is universal to all of us. The hidden structure of our minds is what truly defines our species, not the particular sounds we happen to make.
And that leaves us with a pretty provocative question, doesn't it? If we've been so fundamentally wrong about something as basic as the purpose of language, what other huge assumptions about the human mind, about consciousness, and about our own nature might be just as deeply mistaken?
The ideas in this explainer come from Noam Chomsky's The Science of Language, a series of interviews conducted by James McGilvray.
Crisis in Perception is free to watch and listen to. Supporters on Patreon help fund the research and production that make this work possible.
For the full, long-form deep dive into this book and its ideas, follow the link in the description. If you enjoy these explainers, please subscribe and comment with books or topics you'd like us to explore next.